Hey guys, it's Summer here back with another video. This is the third recording because, well, yeah, this is the third recording because of, because that it just kept, my phone kept doing the auto close thing. Every time that it auto closes, it stops the recording, so this is their time. But okay, so I'm gonna be playing Roblox Tycoon in the background. So if you guys hear anything like a fan or clicking, that is just my computer. So we're going to get into the what if. Basically, this is what Deku's parents get told, and they're at the doctor's office currently. So they get told that Deku's quark is a complete mutation from either of their quarks. Deku's quark is basically a quark that can create weapons that go along with the 4 elements, and it can also use lightning, light, and dark to manipulate. They can manipulate light and stuff like that. And then it can also create really destructive weapons. What I mean by destructive, I mean like, let's say, like the weapon won't have an element to use. It's just pure destruction. That, like, could create like a destructive knife, and if he throws it at the ground, it would create a pretty nicely sized hole in the ground, which would not be but okay, so we're going to basically time skip like a bunch to basically the sludge villain attack, because it's mostly just Deku in school. Deku doesn't get bullied and stuff like that. So Deku is walking home from school. This time Deku doesn't get his hero notes thrown out of the window by Bakugo, but he still wants to rush home. Because, well, he does. And Deku also have like sketches of different types of weapons that he could possibly use. He would have different sketches, because because if you envision it perfectly, then the weapon will come out perfect. But the weapon doesn't stay out. It basically stays out until Deku commands it to basically go away. So Deku runs into the sludge villain, and as Deku walks into the alley, he could kind of see it, and he created a little knife that he threw into the ground, and a bunch of like spikes of concrete just start coming up out of nowhere. So the sludge villain can't get to him, and then he also kind of unboxed the sludge villain inside of that. So then when All Might came, he kind of got out of the box, and he just kind of gave this little box to All Might that the knife was still attached to, and he asked All Might if he could train him so he isn't so weak, and he doesn't have to, he doesn't have to be afraid of, villains, because he wants to be a hero. And All Might asks, "What is your quark?" And Deku explains what his quark is. And All Might's just like, "That's a fine, mighty quark. You're gonna make a great hero. I'm gonna be training at the beach with somebody else. Meet me at the beach tomorrow." So this is like summer, I would say, and they're training it. And so when Deku gets there, Deku ends up getting told the secret about One for All. So then they're told that basically All Might's gonna give his quark to Mirio, and if Mirio ends up getting badly hurt or on the brink of death, then he is to give his quark to, like, if it's something that the healing lady at UA can't heal, then he is to give One for All to to Deku, and he makes this clear that it will transport Mirio's permeation quark. But this is just so when they start training, and Deku learned to basically fly by making wings. Basically, he figured out how to make this giant. He figured out how to make wings with his with fire and to fly, but he was focused on flying and like landing in the sand that he didn't really realize that he needed to practice doing it in concrete. And oh no. So basically, and Deku mostly just face planted every time that he tried to land. He mostly face planted into the ground, but because it was sand, it was more soft. So it was pretty fun. It was fine for then. And then Deku, and then so we skip over to the end. Okay, wait. Okay, you guys need to tell me, who does Deku get with? Does he get with Yaoyorozu or Ochaku? And I'm asking this because their quarks are because Yaoyorozu and Deku's quarks are a lot alike. So yeah, I don't know which one I would want to do, but so yeah. So when the entrance ceremony gets there, Deku basically has this flaming knife. So Deku basically flies over, and as he goes for a landing, he's about to do a face plant as Uraraka catches him. And then see, Izuku doesn't really get so flustered and nervous this time. He more just says, "Thanks, I was about to break my face." And they start talking a bit before they need to go, and then they do like the written part or the test part, and then basically they are talking, and like before the robot exam thing takes place, they're talking. Deku basically explains his quark, and so Deku, the moment before Deku starts to take off, the moment before the thing begins, Deku immediately makes a humongous sword of fire, and then he gets these flaming wings that come out of his back, and it's just, and then this is basically, and then the moment that they say start, Deku runs off, slicing every robot that he comes across in half. This would make it extremely hard for a lot of people to score, and they would see Deku is cutting basically everything in half. When I mean basically everything, I mean everything. Deku is basically just taking over everything, and Deku has the most points currently, and then when the 0-pointer comes, this thing is going for the chocolate, and this time Deku was a bit quicker, but the 0-pointer was still too close for him to get the boulder off and then do anything else. He had to destroy the 0-pointer, then get the boulder off. So Deku basically made the sword huge and just started flying directly up. And then he went at this huge 0-pointer, cut it in half, and then basically jumped off of its head and then quickly fell backwards unconscious because he used his quark too much. Or for too long, because if he's using it for too... Because basically Deku's quark is still in its very early stages. He can't use it for too long or else he gets knocked unconscious, because Deku basically has a certain amount of time, and if he's giving himself flaming wings to fly with, that time is shorter. I mean shorter, I mean it's way shorter than it would normally be. And reminder, Deku was flying at top speed, slicing everything in half, with flames protruding from the sword. That already takes a good amount of his energy to make the flames protrude from the sword. Or make anything protrude from the sword, really. And basically, yeah, Deku would, and Uraraka would still slap him to keep him floating, and Recover Girl would do the thing and recover him. And then Deku would, at this point, eventually just... Deku would eventually just, So when Deku goes into the class, Ida says that you have a remarkable quark, and that your quark is amazing, and he would kind of, and then, so when, okay, so when, what's it called? When Aizawa walks in, he starts saying, he says that, he starts saying that they're not gonna be doing the exam, and that they're not going to, like, the entrance ceremony. They're going to do their own little exam, and whoever, is last gets expelled, and... Well, everybody starts yelling that isn't fair, and then basically Deku aces all of these with creating little weapons, and when it comes to the ball throw, Deku creates like a little wooden... Well, no, he creates like a metal baseball bat, and then he just launches it, and like a rock thing just keeps pushing it up into the atmosphere until it's eventually just gone to Jupiter with enough momentum to go to Jupiter. And then he came in second because of Uraraka's infinity. So yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna end it off here. I'm gonna go.